Good evening and welcome to the January 7th meeting of Troy City Council. I'm Marty Baker, President of Council. Please silence your electronic devices for the duration of the meeting. We'll begin with the invocation by Mr. Mayor Michael Beamish, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Let us pray with the unity of spirit. In our actions, deliberations, decisions, loving God, give us your guidance. Allow each of us to be open to the best interest for this Troy community. And as we begin a new year, let our actions of this meeting tonight and all meetings throughout the year be acceptable and pleasing in your sight. Help us demonstrate compassion, careful thought, and wisdom. Bless all gathered here tonight, as well as those serving in faraway places. Help us to be mindful that we're able to meet only through you and the efforts of many that have and continue to protect our freedoms to assemble. We look with vision in our day-to-day contacts with others. Let us sow your seeds of love, peace, and understanding. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Knight, please call the roll.
Mr. Heath?
Here.
Mr. Lutz?
Here.
Mrs. Oda? Here. Mr. Phillips?
Here.
Mr. Sievert?
Here.
Mr. Swayzer?
Here.
Mr. Twilliger?
Here.
Mr. Twist?
Here.
Mr. Kendall?
I'll move to excuse Mr. Kendall.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Heath and seconded by Mr. Terwilliger to excuse Mr. Kendall. Mrs. Knight, please call the roll.
Mr. Lutz?
Yes.
Mrs. Oda?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Sievert?
Yes.
Mr. Swayzer?
Yes.
Mr. Terwilliger?
Yes.
Mr. Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Heath?
Here, yes.
Mr. Kendall is excused.
Mrs. Knight, please read a summary of the minutes of the December 17th meeting of Troy City Council.
Minutes of Council, December 17, 2018. There was a presentation made on behalf of Rumpke of Ohio, Inc. Committee reports, Law and Ordinance Committee recommended that the DRO district be amended based on the recommendation of the Planning Commission and that O56-2018 be adopted. Committee recommended legislation be prepared approving an enterprise zone agreement number 37 with ConAgra Foods. Personnel Committee recommended that legislation be prepared amending the rate for seasonal and part-time employees to comply with the Ohio minimum wage. Committee recommended legislation be prepared approving amendments to Chapter 141, the benefit provisions for non-bargaining unit employees. There was an oral report regarding the reappointment of William Wilkie to the Economic Development Revolving Loan Fund Review Committee, and that appointment was approved. Utilities Committee recommended legislation be prepared establishing storm water rates at $5.65 per month effective February 1. Resolution number R63, 2018, funding for Lincoln Center, was discussed and postponed indefinitely. Resolution number R69, 2018, establishing base rate for stormwater management, was given first reading and adopted. Resolution number R70, 2018, enterprise zone agreement with ConAgra, first reading and adopted. Resolution R71, 2018, an agreement with the Ohio Labor Council for the police captains, was given first reading and was adopted. Resolution number R72, 2018, agreement with Ohio Council of AFSCME employees, was given first reading and adopted. Resolution number R73, 2018, agreement with AFSCME employees in the Park Department, was given first reading and adopted. Resolution number R74, 2018, agreement with the International Association of Firefighters, first reading and adopted. Ordinance 056, 2018, amending the zoning code related to downtown Riverfront Overlay District, was given third reading and was adopted. Ordinance number 060, 2018, salaries of certain employees was given first reading and adopted. Ordinance number 061, 2018, amending Chapter 141, benefit provisions, first reading and adopted. Ordinance number 062, fixing salaries and wages of certain employees, first reading and adopted. Ordinance number 063, 2018, fixing salaries of certain employees was given first reading and adopted. Ordinance number 064, 2018, also fixing salaries and wages of certain employees, was given first reading and was adopted. Following various comments, council adjourned at 7:42 p.m.
Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Phillips and seconded by Mr. Twist to approve the minutes. Mrs. Knight, please call the roll.
Mrs. Oda?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Sievert?
Yes.
Mr. Swazer?
Yes.
Mr. Twilliger?
Yes.
Mr. Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Heath?
Yes.
Mr. Lutz?
Yes.
Minutes are approved.
Does anyone have any committee reports this evening? I do not think we have any scheduled. Okay. Is there any comments from the audience concerning the one resolution that we have on our agenda tonight? It's the only thing on the agenda. Okay, we'll move on then and ask Mrs. Knight to please read Resolution R1, 2019.
Resolution number R1, 2019, resolution authorizing the sale during calendar year 2019 of municipally owned personal property, which is not needed for public use or which is obsolete or unfit for the use for which it was acquired by internet auction pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 721.15D. The city must adopt this resolution on an annual basis just to permit the use of the internet auction site should there be surplus property. First reading.
Are there any questions from council?
Move to suspend. I'll second.
It's been moved by Mr. Schweizer and seconded by Mr. Heath to suspend the rules. Mrs. Knight, please call the roll.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Sievert?
Yes.
Mr. Swazer?
Yes.
Mr. Twilliger?
Yes.
Mr. Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Heath?
Yes.
Mr. Lutz?
Yes.
Mrs. Oda?
Yes.
Move to adopt.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Phillips and seconded by Mr. Twist to adopt the resolution. Is there any questions or further discussion from council? Mrs. Knight, please call the roll.
Mr. Sievert?
Yes.
Mr. Swazer?
Yes.
Mr. Twilliger?
Yes.
Mr. Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Heath?
Yes.
Mr. Lutz?
Yes.
Mrs. Oda?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Resolution is adopted.
That completes the business portion of tonight's meeting. We have no ordinances on the agenda. Mrs. Knight, are there any communications or announcements?
No, they're not.
We do have a presentation tonight from Mrs. Kelly Snyder from the Troy Rec Association. Kelly, would you like to please come forward?
Well, thank you to Mayor Beamish, the Troy City Council members, and the City of Troy staff for your continued support of the Troy Rec and all that we do. For 78 years, the Rec has been an anchor in the downtown district. We're proud to be part of a vibrant and active city that values their citizens and particularly values their youth. Our building is in continuous use from 7:15 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night most days. Weekends are booked with parties, private ballroom dance lessons, rec dances or movie nights, and our most recent rental is the Valley Church. Our before and after school daycare is in their 25th year of operation, with affordable and safe childcare that parents appreciate very much. Our pre-K has been in operation now for 7 years and has reached full capacity at 48 students. We offer an enriching and engaging curriculum for our youngest learners and really enjoy the energy that they bring to our building. The bulk of our operation, though, is geared to the 6th through 12th grade students. They drop into the Rec Monday through Friday after school. They can play basketball, billiards, ping pong. They receive assistance with homework or just hang out with their friends. We're so thankful to our community for all the support and love directed our way that allows us to serve in this capacity. Our hope is that we're a safe landing spot for the kids, where they feel comfortable enough to talk and open up with us to share their day. We're blessed with an extraordinary staff that truly loves and cares about these kids and where they're going in life. Our attendance numbers keep increasing every month, and we're glad to have every kid who walks through the door. Since the beginning of our school year, we're averaging over 90 kids every day, with Fridays usually over 100. We know part of the increase is due to increased enrollment at Van Cleve's 6th grade building, but I also attribute it to the continuity in our staffing. All of our game room staff have been with us for over a year, with several of them over 3 years. This has allowed us to create relationships and build trust with the kids. And due to that, we're seeing a lot of the older kids that normally wouldn't be there, the 10th through 12th graders, still coming in to visit with us. They don't stay quite as long as they used to, but they hop in, they say hi, and then they head on their way. Before you have a summary of our activities for 2018, and that kind of shows the nitty-gritty numbers, but it doesn't show the impact that we're having on individual kids. And I believe that's our true value to the community, what we're pouring into these kids on a daily basis. This summer, we again partnered with the Troy Foundation, Partners in Hope, Garden Manor, City of Troy Schools, and Lincoln Community Center to offer summer lunches to any youth in the city. While we've operated our Summer Lunch Buddy literacy program for over 15 years, this was our second year offering lunches to any student. It was a blessing to serve these kids. We saw an average of 25 to 30 kids daily, which is a huge increase for us over the summer, and we'll continue that partnership in the future. We were honored again to be asked to open our doors during the Tour de Donut for registration and as the headquarters for the tour's organizers. It was a lot of fun, and we look forward to partnering with them again next year. We learned some lessons from the first year, and we were better able to handle the amount of traffic and leftover donuts better than we did the first year. There were thousands of leftover donuts. So if you need donuts or want a donut after the tour, come see us. Our Troy Rec Community Helpers has a mission of connecting our youth to the community through real-world engagement. We partnered with Troy Main Street and their green team to clean the downtown semi-monthly. We continued our partnership with United Church of Christ and helped pack weekend backpacks of food for elementary students. Our goal with this group is always to introduce our youth to volunteer opportunities and give back to the community that has so graciously supported our organization. We offered some new programs this year for our attendees that were well received, and we plan on continuing those again this semester. We had a yoga class. We did some vision boarding for them looking ahead to the future. We have workout sessions with hybrid fitness twice a week, and we had a gentleman come in that taught some kids how to carve wood. Our biggest event this year had to be our Ninja Obstacle Challenge fundraiser. It was a great addition to our recreation offerings, and it was a tremendous fundraiser for us, so we will be offering that again this year. I want to just reiterate on behalf of the Board of Directors, the staff, and the participants how very much we appreciate the city's support. We would love for you to stop in anytime for a visit, love to give you a tour and tell you all the great things that we're doing. Thank you.
I would just like to say that those successes are also due to the steady direction that they've received from you through the past several years, and I think that that's now showing in the results that you're getting. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much.
Are there any questions from council members? Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Mayor Beamish, do you have any comments this evening?
Well, I certainly concur with what you said, Madam President. Kelly has done an excellent job. One additional thing that people need to realize is the extra mile she'll go. The Mayor's Youth Council was one example of that. She comes in on a Sunday evening for a Super Bowl party with our Mayor's Youth Council. That's over and above, and I do appreciate what she's presented to this community in so many different ways. I'll just say that. And also, speaking of the Mayor's Youth Council, I'll mention we are heading to the Senior Citizen Center on Sunday of this week, on the 13th, from 2 to 4. We play bingo with the seniors, And they enjoy it, and our young people enjoy it. And thanks to Mr. Davis and Mr. Kerber for being advisors to that organization. I would also mention, and I'll defer most of this, but Martin Luther King is on Monday, the 21st, and there will be an event, and I'll let Mr. Swayzer represents the King team and council and the city on that committee. I'll let him talk about that, but just know the city offices will be closed, but everything else is on schedule. Trash, recycling will be on a regular schedule that day. So I'll defer to Mr. Swayzer for details on Martin Luther King event. That's it. Thank you, Madam President.
Director of Public Service and Safety, Mr. Titterington.
Well, I had three comments, now two. The first one is that with the surprisingly mild weather, it encouraged more folks over the weekend to pile yet more leaves out at the curb. So staff was out there with 2 crews all day today. We think we got all the piles in the next day or two. We're just going to do one more cleanup. By the end of the day, Wednesday, though, we've got to be done with the leaf pickup. We're doing crack sealing. We're doing some other maintenance projects. And the longer-term forecast shows that it's going to start getting colder and more inclement weather-wise. So leaf pickup through Wednesday, and then I think this is probably one of the longest times that longest years that we've been able to pick up leaves. So hopefully we'll get them all. The other one, special pickup that we are in the midst of and will be through February 1st is live Christmas trees, well, dead Christmas trees, real Christmas trees that we've been picking them up. We ask that they be at the curb. We ask them to not block the catch basins. I guess on average we pick up anywhere from 700 to 800 of those trees. So we have gotten some inquiries about, if I put it out there and you get my trash, why is it being left? It's a different crew that picks up the trees. So there may be a day or 2, 3 days delay, but we will get it. If it's a week or so, maybe we missed it, give us a call, we'll swoop by and pick it up. But that'll go through February 1st. That's all I have. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Director of Law, Mr. Kerber.
I don't have anything this evening. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Any comments from City Council members this evening?
Yes, Madam President.
Mr. Schweizer.
As the mayor indicated earlier, we will have a Martin Luther King celebration on January 21st. The event will start at Bakehouse Breads about 9:30 in the morning, and we're going to walk down to the police station or march down to the police station where we'll have a prayer with the police. From there, we'll go over to the United Methodist Church over here for a ceremony or a service to honor Dr. King. After that, we'll go over to First Place and have a fellowship lunch hosted by or catered by Fazoli's. So everybody's invited. Come on down. It's a good fun morning to celebrate the life and teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King. Everybody's welcome.
Thank you. Any other council members have any comments this evening? Any members of city staff have any comments? Anyone in the audience? Any comments this evening?
Hi, Jeff Schilling, 591 Chartwell Court, Troy. I have 2 questions concerning the roundabout project at McCaig and South Dorset. I posed these questions to the City Engineering Department over 6 weeks ago and have not received an acknowledgement. The first question concerns extending the curb and sidewalk on the south side of McCaig from its current planned termination point at the eastern edge of the new driveway leading into the Troy Christian Elementary School and extending that to the city limits at the edge of the interstate bridge over I-75. The distance is approximately 110 yards, and the cost estimates that I got was about $10,000, and I think the project cost is $2 million to do the roundabout. Why extend the sidewalk to the bridge and the city limit? If you live out in that area of town and pay attention to the foot and bicycle traffic, you would notice the muddy path worn in the weeds and the trash along the guardrails. Troy residents travel across the I-75 McCaig Road Bridge every day by foot and by bicycle. For those who use the path, it's a matter of safety. Eastbound vehicles approaching the bridge at 45 miles an hour. Because of the arch of the bridge, drivers cannot see over the peak of the bridge until they are on the bridge. A curb would help separate the vehicles from the pedestrians, and the sidewalk would provide a more stable, safer surface to walk on. How do we make this change? Mr. Mayor, I know that safety of the residents of Troy has always been a high priority for you. You stated this priority again in your recent New Year's address. Would you be willing to spearhead this safety issue and add this needed change into the construction schedule? The second question concerns the property located on the north side of McCaig, west of South Dorset. This property is currently being used as a veterinary practice and is the only property in the area that is not in the city of Troy. As the city is constructing new roadway along the front of this property, and the property is not currently within the city of Troy, did the property owners receive a godfather offer of annexation similar to the offer the new city residents of Riverside Drive received? If not, why not? If the city requires annexation for one group of property owners because of construction, the city should not waive this requirement for the next project. What distinguishes this property from the Riverside group? Thank you.
Thank you.
We can check into the sidewalk. I know Joe was looking into that. The roundabout, just for clarification, was about an $80,000 portion of the $1-point-something million. The project was not $2 million, but if it was $2 million, that was the whole project, not just the roundabout. Don't want people to think we have a $2 million roundabout out there. The Veterinary Services Building, that is a standalone property. It is not to be compared to the Riverside project, which involves septic tanks and the state requirement to hook up sewer. That is not a requirement here with the veterinary property offices that's out there on South Dorset or McCaig, and so there was no discussion about annexation, utility hookup, etc. So one did not drive the other in this project like it did on the Riverside Drive project. But we will follow up on the sidewalk curb question with staff.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments from anyone in the audience? Okay.
Madam President.
One second. We will have an executive session tonight. We do not expect to have any further council action after the executive session. However, if you so desire, you may stay until after that. Otherwise, you would be free to leave, and I wish you all a safe and peace-filled week. Mr. Lutz.
Madam President, I move we move into executive session to consider the purchase of property for public purpose.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Lutz and seconded by Mr. Phillips to move into executive session. Mrs. Knight, please call the roll.
Mr. Swayzer?
Yes.
Mr. Terwilliger?
Yes.
Mr. Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Heath?
Yes.
Mr. Lutz?
Yes.
Mrs. Oda?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Siebert?
Yes.
Motion is approved.